Lindsay Dentlinger of our Parliamentary Eyewitness News team was in the lockup this morning where reporters are locked up without communication devices and they get to study the budget speech, the budget documents before it is delivered, and they are briefed by various people involved with the budget and its drawing up and its application. And Lindsay, as somebody who only had the minister's speech to go on, I'm kind of going, yeah, okay, well, there's not much in there, is there?
Well, there's even less in the budget documents, John, and an indication of that is that they didn't even print full documents because a lot of it is what was contained in the second version of the budget, which was tabled in March. And so really very small tweaks that were made to explain the backtrack in that increase proposal and the replacement with the general fuel levy, and so not much difference in terms of what individual departments will be receiving over what was initially planned for them in March, John.
So there is hope. So it was blindingly obvious that there was going to be no VAT increase. The increase in the fuel levy is, I suppose, a bit of a surprise. 20 billion rand in tax revenue in the next year's budget, unless the extra money being given to SARS leads to increased revenue collection, which will make that 20 billion rand in tax increases unnecessary. Is not expanding the range of VAT-exempt products as was done in the first not delivered budget, and a commitment to more scrupulous control of spending and a reduction in the amount of money that had been added to spending for education and health, particularly in the original budget. Was there anything else that is noteworthy for you or for people that have commented to you on today's budget?
No, John, I think you've kind of summed out what the major moves have been. And as you said, the replacement of the general fuel levy. I understand that some economists had looked at that as a possibility. Obviously, possibly not going to make up as much money as a VAT increase would have done. But given that it has been on hold for the last 3 years, we have not had an increase, that it was probably the most likely way to go, because we know the minister had previously said he was not going to tinker with personal income tax, neither was he going to do so with corporate income tax. So I think that is really the last and the lesser of the tax evils that he could play with. And as you said, he hasn't changed anything to the social grants. That remains the same, but that additional cushion we expected that they would have received in terms of expanding those zero-rated food items now withdrawn, because that was essentially to cushion the blow of what a VAT increase might have meant. So no other major moves that the minister has made, and a lot now riding on the taxman, John, to prove that extra millions that he's going to get, that he's good for it, and that at very minimum he can bring in at least 20 billion rand next year.
And of course also all eyes on government departments to curtail their wasteful spending in the way that the minister said that they must do. In terms of response, I see the EFF calls it a weak, misguided and utterly disconnected budget from the lived reality of South Africans. MKP, yet another hollow and anti-poor budget. And it also seems that the parties that are in the government of national unity have been less critical. The DA quite positive about it, and perhaps the most telling reaction which I've seen comes in from the Old Mutual wealth investment strategist, boring in a good way.
I suppose so, yes. I think the biggest indication, I think all the eyes today was on what the DA is going to do next, and their initial indications are that they are going to back this particular budget. It is going in a direction which they believe it needs to go, but maybe not such great support from Action SA, as you will recall, who helped shore up the ANC to get that fiscal framework over the line in March that was subsequently retracted by the courts. But they are extremely unhappy with this fuel levy. This is not what they would have suggested the finance minister do. And I think it's pretty much to be expected that the major opposition parties, the EFF and the Umkhonto weSizwe Party, neither of them are going to agree to any tax that's going to affect the ordinary man on the street. The fuel levy, I suppose we can expect knock-on ramifications to be an increase in public transport costs, so they're never going to back that. We know that their preference is to hit the wealthy and to hit corporates even harder, and that is not a line the finance minister is prepared to cross. But as I said, I think the biggest support the ANC had to win over today was the DA, and initial indications are that they are going to back this particular budget the third time around.
And listener Ryan has asked about sin taxes, cigarettes, alcohol, and so on. Do they stay the same as budget 1.0? They're already in place, I think.
They are already in place. I don't know if Liz hasn't taken note that she's already paying more for her cigarettes and her wine. Those kind of fall outside the budget process, although the minister traditionally makes that announcement when he tables the budget. They're not linked to any of the budget documents. Those are taxes that he is able to raise outside of the budget framework, and so those already went up on the 12th of March. But they're not going to go up by any more. So he hasn't made any additional announcements regarding those so-called sin taxes, and they stay as the minister announced on the 12th of March, John.
Lindsay Dentlinger of Eyewitness News, thank you very much indeed.